Hey, it's your friend Frank again, back to talk to you some more about, again, my book, Everyday Leader, just taking some excerpts out of this. So if you get a chance, pick it up. It's on Amazon and other bookstores. But nevertheless, let's jump right in. Oh, by the way, if you think of it, man, and you're getting something out of these, and you know somebody that's a leader or a boss or maybe a parent, and I listen, I got to tell you, my mother, who is well in her 70s, when she first read this book, she had it for a while, and she told me one day, of course she's mom and she's going to like the book because I wrote it. But what was interesting is that after she had had it for a while, she'd read through it quite a bit. She actually called me one day, and she had been reading it, and she said, she said, after all these years, I'm reading through your book, and I'm learning life lessons at my age that I wish I would have known a long time ago, but I'm glad I'm hearing them today. So, it's for anybody and everybody. Whether you're a leader or just a parent, or you just want to improve or lead yourself better, regardless. So, anyway, jumping into it, Dare to Dream. I want to talk about daring to dream. And Mark Batterson, who's an author, he said, I would rather fail at something I love than succeed at something I hate. Now think about that for a second. I'd rather fail at something I love than succeed at something I hate. Now, just before we go on any further, I know we got to pay the bills. And I am not at all telling you, oh, you don't like your job, just quit and go, you know, be a professional athlete or something. That's not what I'm talking about. You still have to pay the bills. You still have responsibilities and commitments and all those sort of things. But what I'm talking about is start thinking about what you do or don't like about your job or whatever it is that you do. And first of all, try to find ways to implement more of what you like to do into your existing job so that you like it more. Before you start changing careers, how can you make your job more enjoyable and put more of yourself into it? But anyways, so why? But nevertheless, if it's a job we hate, why do we continue to do it? Is it out of obligation? Is it duty? Yes, we have responsibilities, absolutely. Or is it, I just got to do what I got to do, and we don't really think about whether or not we enjoy the job. Maybe we just didn't know we wouldn't like it when we started. I know lots of people that went down a career path starting out with college, and they got a degree in something and went out there and applied themselves to it and got a job, and found out they didn't like it at all. And that's tragedy. They, of course, you don't know until you try, but man. So one of my favorite things, my youngest son, he, of course, this is off. This is not in the book, but um, my youngest son Keith, he had it in his mind through junior high and high school that he was going to be a doctor. He was going to go to college and go through all the med school and be a doctor. And he had it so set that he actually qualified pre-med at OU, went and did his freshman year at OU. And by the time he finished his freshman year at OU, he had made the decision that being a doctor really isn't what he wanted to do. It was really kind of surprising. So he comes home from college after his freshman year and says, Dad, I don't want to be a doctor. I'm like, okay, well, what do you want to do? I really like numbers. I don't want to get a business degree. I mean, that's a huge shift, right? But here's what I told him. I said, better to figure that out now than 8 years or 12 years from now after you've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on a medical degree only to find out you don't even want to be a doctor. So the success story of that is he did get his business degree, and he is doing fantastic at the corporate office of a bank where he enjoys being a very young vice president of a part of the bank. So anyway, success story there. So do what you love to do, and he actually loves it. He loves the analytical side of it. He's a numbers guy, and it ended up being a perfect fit for him. And I'm glad he figured that out early. But so many of us, we continue to do the job that we hate. And I'll admit I've had jobs that I just absolutely deplored. But you know, what are the drawbacks, right? We pay a hefty price when we're doing something we hate. And forgive me if this one's a little bit longer than normal, but I'm really passionate about this one. Extremely passionate about this. I spent an extensive amount of my time um, getting better at what I love to do so that I could get paid doing it, because I discovered that I was chasing a dream that wasn't for me. Um, and I went through an experience that changed my life, and it gave me the courage to say yes to the things that started leading me down to the path of doing things that I love to do, and enjoyed all of my jobs since then. Every position that I've had since then, I've thoroughly enjoyed, and enjoy what I do today. So, but what's the price, right? And maybe this is going to describe you. So, think about this. Typically, the results are, if we're doing a job we hate to do, here are the results: frustration, stress, dissatisfaction, less than excellence in performance. And we hate to admit that, but if we're really honest with ourselves, we're not 100% when we hate our job. Unhappiness, drained at the end of the day. You know, and think about that. So especially if you're, a family person, you got kids and family, and you're doing this job that you hate. No matter how hard we try to leave work at work, we try to leave home at home. But come on, let's be honest. This stuff crosses over. You can't completely 100% leave work at work. When you come home, it's going to affect you. And if it's a job you hate, then I speak from personal experience, and my family can tell you this and attest to this. And we had many conversations about those times when I was doing jobs that I absolutely hated, and I was not happy, and I was not as engaged with my wife, not engaged with my children. They knew that I was distant. And it's not that I was doing terrible things or being mean to them or anything like that. I just wasn't there. I wasn't all in. I wasn't present in the moment. And that can rob so much from your family. So I really encourage you to give a lot of thought about this. And again, I apologize for this one being longer than normal. The rest of them will be a little shorter. But man, I'm so passionate about this. As a matter of fact, if this is a struggle for you and you're just not sure what you really want to do, I happen to work with folks, and I'd be glad to work with you. There's a process that I went through many years ago. As a matter of fact, it was over 15 years ago. I coach men through this process today, and I'd be glad to work with you and coach you through it if it's something that you're interested in. If so, drop me a note in the comments, or and wherever I'm posting this, drop me a note and we'll talk. But man, there is so much at stake, and it's not. I realize that we can't all do the dream job, but really, what's the dream to you? Your dream's different than my dream. My dream's different than your dream. When I tell my wife, my wife knows my dream, and my dream job would just strip her gears. She would hate it. It'd be miserable for her, and vice versa. The dream job for her, I couldn't. First of all, I couldn't do it successfully, and second of all, I'd be miserable trying to do it. So anyway, what is your dream job? What is it that you love to do? What are you passionate about? Because man, if you can figure out a way to make a living doing what you're really passionate about, then you're going to be a whole lot more present. You're going to be a whole lot more fun to be around. People are going to actually like being around you, and you're going to be a much greater benefit to your family and the people that you care about. So I hope that encourages you. Again, if you're in a job that you absolutely hate, first thing you need to do is try to figure out ways to make it more enjoyable for you so that you actually like it more. But if it's just not a possibility and you're just too disconnected from what you're doing and you really, really need to do something different, take the journey. Don't just flip a switch. Take the journey. Be honest. Figure out what you really want to do with your life and take those steps in that direction. And at some point, you'll find the opportunity to do what you really love to do, and you'll be grateful, and you'll never look back. So, anyway, again, Everyday Leader. Don't forget to subscribe, and share it. Share this with folks that you think this might benefit. And I'll talk to you next time. See you then. Bye.